So first of all, here we are in Adobe Illustrator. Now I have this logo file over here which I got from freepik.com. I'll provide the link in my description. Now over here we are going to need this three logo, not this one. I'm going to select this one and this one over here. So let's select this one and hit delete. I'm going to select this one, hit Ctrl C to copy, go to the our new file. I have already created one new file. You can simply go to the file, Control N, and create a new file, height and width 1920 by 180, and it should be in RGB mode, and simply press Ctrl V over here. Now let's select all of them, go to the align horizontally, align center from vertical as well as horizontal, and try to bring them properly at the center over here. Now after that, we need each and every one onto a separate layer. So let's select this white color logo, hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click on this layer and let's call it as white BG logo, and let's hide this. Then we have this one which is colored logo, so select this and this portion, hit Ctrl X, create a new layer, press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place, double click and let's call it as colored logo. Then we have this black logo, select this and make sure that it should be black logo. Now after selecting that, simply right click and choose ungroup, and I'm going to select this black colored background, hit Ctrl C, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place, double click and let's call it as stroke over here, and let's bring this downwards. Let's hide this. Now I'm going to select this layer, this stroke layer. Simply go to the color option and click on this none, and over here in stroke I'm going to choose black color just for now, so for the visibility, and increase the stroke width to somewhere around 3 and change the color of this stroke to white and simply hit OK, and let's press Ctrl S to save this file and hit Ctrl 0. So now if you see, we have one, if you click on this click to target, you can see that stroke, then we have one black colored logo, then we have colored logo, and then we have white logo. Okay, now let's save this file. Now we will go to the Adobe After Effects and I'm going to hit Ctrl N, or you can simply click on this new composition. We are going to call this comp as main animation comp, like that. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate you can choose whatever you want. I'm going to choose 59.94, and background color is black color, and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on titles of action. Now make sure to hit Ctrl S to save this file. Right now I'm just saving everywhere. So press Ctrl I to import your Illustrator file. So select that Illustrator file, import as footage. I'm going to choose composition, return, layers and sizes, and simply hit import. And let's bring this layer over here. Let's double click to open this. Now select all of them. Here zoom in a little bit and let's try to bring this at the center, and let's make this fit. Now press S and let's make the size up to 2000, not 2000 but 200, like this. Now let's optimize our setup properly. Let's hide all of this, and we have the stroke over here. Select this stroke, right click, go to the create option and shape from vector layer, and we will delete this fifth Illustrator layer, we don't need that. Then we have black logo that should get animated first, so let's try to focus on that. Press Ctrl K to open the project settings and change the color of this one to white. Okay, now what I want is that one object should come from here, and then from here one object should come and it should squeeze that object, and then we will get this logo. So first thing first, we will create that object. So we have this black logo, let's bring this at the top. Let's change the color of this one to red. For the white color I'm going to choose somewhere around this. For colored logo we will choose yellow color just for now, and for the stroke let's keep this color as it is. Okay, so now we are dealing with black logo, so whatever is associated with this we will represent that with the red color only. So first thing first, we will select our ellipse, and for the fill click on this picker and pick up this over here, and by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse Let's select this ellipse and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Change the color of this one to red, and this is going to be the ball, so hit enter and let's call it as ball, and go to the align tab, align it horizontally and align it vertically just for now. Now there should be something which should inside this ball, like a line kind of structure. So let's go to the content, select this ellipse and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Now this topmost ellipse should contain stroke, not fill, so I'll hide the fill and I'll enable the stroke. And let's if you see, after enabling stroke, we got this white color stroke over here. So let's make the stroke width to somewhere around 5 maybe. Then go to the ellipse path and let's decrease the size of this. After this, then minimize this, select this ellipse, go to the add and choose trim path, then go to the trim path and let's make this value 20. Okay, so if I enable this only, we will get this kind of structure. Now you can go to the stroke options and you can adjust the stroke width according to your needs, and let's make this line cap to round cap, so we will get something like this. Now let's minimize this. Now let's select this ball, press V for selection tool, and by holding shift I'm going to bring this over here, like it should touch the bottom of this. Now after that, let's select this ball, press P for position, create one keyframe, then go somewhere around 2 seconds, create another keyframe, then go to the start. Let's press R for rotation, create one keyframe, hit U, go to 2 seconds and let's make this rotation to -1 or let's say -2. Okay, then go to the start, let's bring this from here to here like that, then select the last keyframe and hit F9. Okay, so if you see, we will get something like this. Now at this point I want there should be some squeezing animation, so let's hide this black logo for now. I'm going to select my ellipse and then select this fill and make sure to choose this color only. Let's select not this ellipse but rounded rectangle may be good, and create this kind of rounded rectangle like this. Select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point. Let's hit enter and let's call it as bold. Okay, select this, go to the align tab and choose align horizontally, then select this bold, hit Ctrl D to duplicate, go over here, go to the contents, rectangle path, unlink this, and we need to increase the size of this from here like that. Then select this board, hit R and let's rotate it on 90 degree like this. Then select this, press V and let's try to bring this over here. Okay, now this board 2 should be parent with this one, so let's select this board 2 and make it a parent with this board. Let's select all of this board 1 and board 2 and change the color of this one to red one. Okay, so we have this board. Now it should come from top, so make sure to initially it should be over here. Select both of them and let's, with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move them over here. Select this board, press P, create one keyframe, then go somewhere around 3 seconds and let's try to bring this downward over here. Then go to the 4 second, select this first keyframe, hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, select those keyframe and let's hit F9 to ease out. Go to the graph editor, right click and make sure to choose edit speed graph. Select this speed graph. By holding shift I'm going to move this handle over here. Select this and move this handle over here. Select this and move this handle over here. Select this and move this handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like this. Now if you see this animation, we will get this first and then we will get this first. Now it should be a little bit faster, so let's select this and by holding Alt I'm going to reduce this keyframes up to this. So if you see this, now first we will get this and then we will get this. Now when this ball is this board is gonna come near the ball, it should start getting squeezed. So to do that, if you see this properly, the anchor point of this ball is at the center. So if I press S, for example, if I press S and unlink the scale, it should come from the center, but we don't want that. So to avoid this mistake, what we can do, we can simply right click and we can create a new null object, hit enter and let's call it as scale. and this null object, press P and bring this null object at the bottom over here and select this ball and make it a parent with this scale. Now what will happen if I select this scale and if I unlink this and if I adjust the scale, I can animate it like this. So let's create one keyframe at scale, hit U so you can select all of this and hit U so you can see all of the keyframes. And at this point over here, I'm going to reduce the scale from here like this and adjust the size from here like that, then go somewhere around over here. Let's make this value 100, also this one also 100, then select those keyframe and let's hit F9. So if you see, we will get something like this. So if I see, we will get this kind of animation. Now after that, from this point, this portion should not come. Our logo should start come from here. So let's select this black logo and let's bring this at the top over here, and with the help of open square bracket I'll move this over here. Then at this point I'll go somewhere around over here, then I'm going to select this black logo and I'll make it parent with this scale. So if you see, we'll get something like this. Okay, you can select this keyframe and you can move little bit forward so you will get proper something like this. Then you can go to the graph editor, you can select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and this handle over here like this. Okay, so there should be some smoothness over here, and again you can select this ball over here. At this point I don't want anything of this ball, so by holding alt close square bracket I'll move to this. Okay, so if you see this, now we'll get this, then we'll get this. Now after that I'm going to enable my stroke layer, which is this one, and let's bring this at the top, stroke layer, and let's move this over here. Go to the effect and presets panel and we are going to search for drop shadow effect. So let's apply drop shadow effect and double click to apply, and let's increase the softness of this shadow somewhere around like this. Okay, let's select this and with the help of open square bracket move this over here. Go to the stroke, go to the add and let's choose trim path. Go to the trim path and let's make this end value 0 and create one keyframe. Go somewhere around over here, let's make this value 100. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. So you will get something like this. Okay, so if you see this, now we'll get first this, then this, and we want this after this. Then select this white BG logo over here and let's try to bring this at the top, and with the help of open square bracket move this over here. So let's say this animation from now, first we will get this and then this. I think this ball is coming very slowly, so hit U, select those last keyframe, or you can select all the keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here like this, then we'll get something like this. You can bring this scale over here, this keyframe over here, so it will, you know, start to, it will come at the position over here. Let's move this up to this. Okay, like that. So as you guys can see, we will get this, then this, and then we want this white color logo at this point. Okay, and there should be some animation that should reveal this white color logo. So for that what we can do is we will create some kind of wavy animation. So let's select this rectangle and let's create one mask for this. Let's select this, hit enter, and let's call it as mask, and I'm going to choose this green color over here for this, and let's move this over here. I think this is sand color, so let's choose same color. Move this over here and go to the effect and presets panel and search for wave warp effect and double click to apply, and increase the wave width somewhere around like this, and wave height as well over here. Then along with that I'm going to apply turbulence displace effect and double click to apply, and let's bring this downwards over here. Select this white BG logo and choose alpha mask. select this mask, press P for position, create one keyframe, go somewhere around over here, and let's move this over here. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get this kind of revealing animation over here. Now I'm going to select this colored logo and I'll hit Ctrl D for just for now to create a kind of a illusion that there are both logos involved. I'm going to change the color of this one to cyan also, and let's enable this logo over here, and let's bring this over here. And now I'm going to select this mask. I'll hit Ctrl D, I'll bring this over here, I'll select this layer as well, and I'm going to choose alpha matte, and I'm going to select this white colored logo, and it should animate a little bit later after this color. And let's select this mask over here, and I'm going to change the turbulence evolution over here, so I'll get a different pattern for this one. Okay, so let's try to bring this over here. First we will get this kind of animation. So if I see this animation from the start, first I'll get this, then I'll get this, then I'll get this over here. Then I'm going to enable this white colored logo over here. Let's select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as animation of logos and hit OK. Then we are going to apply page turn effect over here, CC page turn, and as you guys can see, if I move this over here, I can move page turn this effect like this. Press F4 over here and enable this icon, so you can easily animate this. So initially it should be over here. Let's see how does it looks. As you guys can see, at this point we are getting trouble over here. So let's do one thing. Let's go somewhere around at this point. When this entire animation is done, I'm going to select this and I'll press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer. And at this point where this animation is going, we don't want this, so I'm going to delete this page turn effect. Okay, so first I'll get this, and when this is happening, I'm getting this. By the way, this logo is this one. Okay, so there is nothing behind it. We get this animation, and then this. Then at this point over here, initially select this fold position. Select this icon, and let's see where we can move. I want to move it let's say over here like this. You can change the light direction according to your needs. Okay, you can choose different options as well, like where you want to rotate, or for example you can rotate it from here as well. You can move this somewhere around over here as well. Okay, I think I want to move it over here, so initially it should be over here. Create one keyframe at position and make sure to choose top right corner, hit U, then go few frame forward somewhere around over here and zoom out, and let's try to bring this point totally over here. Okay, and select those keyframe and let's hit F9 and let's make this fit and enable this colored logo, and with the help of open square bracket I'll move this over here, so I'll get that revealing effect over here. Let's make this full quarter resolution. Okay, like this. Now after that, if you want, you can select this. You can apply turbulence displace effect over here as well. So if you see this now, we are getting this kind of effect, but we don't want this effect at the start. So initially amount should be 0. Create one keyframe. As the animation goes further, increase that amount to 100. Okay, hit U so you can see those keyframe like this. Okay, and let's try to bring this little bit downward. Okay, so we will get something like this. So we will get proper page turn effect. So as you guys can see, we will get first this, then this, then this, and then this, and then something like this. Okay, so this is how you can create this kind of Instagram logo reveal. Now you can go to the main animation and hit N. You can press Ctrl Y to create one solid background. You can choose a little bit grayish background as well, like this. Okay, so you will get proper this kind of animation over here. Then make sure to go inside this animation logos and all of the stuff, select all of them and enable the motion blur. So what will happen is that you will get that subtleness in your each and every transition over here, like this. Okay, so yeah, this is how you can create this kind of logo. Okay, so here we are in Adobe After Effects, and first thing first, we will create a new composition. We are going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate we are going to choose 30 second, duration I'm going to choose 1 minute long, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK and hit OK. And let's go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title section. Now I have this Google logo over here, which I have divided each and every alphabet in different layers in Photoshop. You can easily get this file from Google, and all you need to do is to simply uh, cut it out and cut place on the same layer in Photoshop. You can check it out in my other tutorials as well, that how I do that, or you can see this on membership video as well. Okay, so now I have this Google logos over here, but before animating it, we will try to create our main animation, which is like a spring like a structure. And for that I'm going to select my ellipse tool, and I don't want any field, so I'll delete this field. And for the stroke I'm going to choose black color, and stroke width right now I'm choosing 15 pixels, and by holding shift I'm going to create this kind of ellipse. Now let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now go to the Add menu and we are going to choose Trim Path. Go to the Trim Path and End Value. Let's make this 50. And also offset, we need to make this on -90, like that. Okay, so now let's go to the Add menu and we are going to choose Trim Path again. Let's minimize this trim path, and now if you can see, we can animate this portion like that. So initially I'm going to make this value 0, create one keyframe and end, then go to around 20 frame. Let's make this value 100. Okay, like that. Then or you can go to 1 minute as well. Then somewhere around over here at 1 second I'm going to create one keyframe, then go to around 10 frames. Let's make this value 100. So if you see this, now we will getting something like that. Then select those keyframe and we are going to hit F9 like this. Okay, so we are getting something like that. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph, and by holding shift let's move one handle over here like this. Select this and let's move one handle over here like that. So if you see this, now we are getting something like this. But the obvious thing over here is animation looks very slow. So let's select this and by holding alt I'm going to move this up to 20 frames. So now animation will look a little bit faster. Now let's select this and choose stroke width to somewhere around like this. Okay, now let's go somewhere around over here at this point. Okay, we are getting something like this. Now press P for position and let's bring this portion over here like this. Okay, now we need to animate this one by one. So as you guys know that my portion should be at this point, revealing animation should be at this point. So I'm going to select this shape layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, press V, and let's try to move this over here just for now. Okay, press Ctrl R to bring one ruler and this move this portion over here like that, so it would be easy for us to understand. Okay, let's delete this portion for now. As you guys know that my this portion is circle is touching over here. I'm going to create one line over here to just for my readings. I'll select this and I'll hit Ctrl D, and by holding shift I'm going to move this over here. Then I'm going to bring this ruler to this point. I'll select this, I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate and I'll try to bring this over here Again, I'm going to bring one ruler over here like this. I'm going to select this, hit Ctrl D, and let's move this over here. Okay, now we need to animate it one by one. When this portion, I mean this one, is coming to touch over here, I want this one should start to animate, so I'll move this over here like that. Then as it goes further somewhere around at this point, I want this one should start to animate, so with the help of open square bracket I'll move this over here. Then at this point I'm going to move this over here like that. Then when this is completely ending, I want my logo should pop up, so I'll go to the Google. I'm going to select this G. I'll hit Ctrl C to copy. I'll go over here and I'll hit Ctrl V to paste. I'll press S for scaling option, and scale I'm going to make this 50 or even less than that. I think 20 would be nicer. And let's move this over here like that. Now at this point, when this is coming over here, I'll select this G. Let's move this over here. Press P for position to create one keyframe. Go few frame forward to create another keyframe, and in middle of that I'm going to move this from here to here. Then go few frame forward, create another keyframe again, and at this point over here I'm going to move this upward. Then select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, zoom in, right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph. Zoom in, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here, this handle over here, this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. Zoom in, select this by holding shift, move this handle over here, this over here, this over here, this over here, select this and move this over here. Okay, zoom in. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. Now press S for scaling option, create one keyframe, go somewhere around over here, create another keyframe, go to the start, let's make this value 0, select those keyframe and hit F9, so we'll get something like this. Now press R for rotation to create one keyframe, go somewhere around at this point, let's make this one complete rotation. Okay, like that. So we will get this kind of animation. Now if you want, you can press S and let's make this value somewhere around at 20 or let's say 5 maybe. Okay, like that. Okay, I think this animation looks good. Let's select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C and let's call it as G. Then select this, hit Ctrl D, hit enter, let's call it as O. Hit Ctrl D, let's call it as O2. Hit Ctrl D, hit enter, and let's call it as G. Hit Ctrl D, hit enter, let's call it as L. Hit Ctrl D, hit enter, and let's call it as E. Okay, so now I have this one for each and every alphabet. Now what we need to duplicate it from the our main project window. So let's select this G, hit Ctrl D, hit enter, and let's call it as O. Again hit Ctrl D, let's call it as O2 only. Hit Ctrl D, hit enter, let's call it as G. Hit Ctrl D, hit enter, let's call it as L. Hit Ctrl D, hit enter, and let's call it as E. Okay, now we need to replace each and every one. So let's select this O first and this, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it. Then select this O and this O, and by holding Alt replace it. Select this G and this G, and by holding Alt replace it. Select this L and this L, and by holding Alt replace it. Select this, and by holding Alt replace it. Okay, now let's go to the logo layers over here, and obviously we have each and every one properly separated by their names. So let's see, we have this O. So let's go to this fifth composition over here, select this G and this O, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it like that. Okay, but let's hit Control Z. Before that, hit Control R to bring one ruler like that, and make sure that it should touch the bottom of this. Select this O, and by holding Alt let's replace it. Hit U and make sure that at last and somewhere around at this point over here, that should properly start from this point over here. You can copy this value, go to the end, hit Control V. Okay, like that. Okay, over here. Same goes for this O as well. So let's double click and open this. Okay, again hit Ctrl R to bring one ruler like that. Select this O, select this O. By holding Alt, replace it, hit U. You can copy that value over here as well, because both of these O's are same. So simply you can copy this over here as well. Now the remaining one is G. Let's double click to open this. Select this G. Again bring one ruler over here like that. Bring your G from here over here, and by holding Alt simply replace it. Select this P for position, zoom in over here, go over here, and let's try to adjust it properly like that. Okay, copy this keyframe, not keyframe but value, paste it over here like that. Okay, I think this much looks good. Similarly, we need to go for the L. Bring one ruler, select this L, select this G. By holding Alt, replace it. We don't need to do anything because L is properly at the position. I think we can bring this a little bit downward, not too much. Okay, and let's copy this position over here as well. Now the last remaining one is E. Again bring this line over here, which should touch properly over here. Select this E. By holding Alt, replace it, hit U, zoom in, try to bring this downwards, copy the color code, not color code but position keyframe like that. Okay, so all of these, if you see this now, we will get this, and all of them are ready like this. But now we need to adjust them as a logo. So for that, what we are going to do, we will bring our logo comp, which is over here, drag it, press S, and let's adjust the properly like this. Now let's select this G composition. Sorry, let's remove this portion. Let us hide all of this. Select this G and let's try to bring this over here like that. Try to select this logo and adjust it according to your main logo over here. Let's make this 18. Okay, you can select this logo just for our reference. Apply fill and double click. Okay, and let's try to adjust the scale. I think this one would be nicer. Let's make this 21. Okay, it's still not, so let's make this 20. Yeah, I think 20 is fine like that. And let's bring this downwards and let's lock this layer. Now we have this O, so let's try to move this O over here like this. Then we have this O. Let's try to move this over here. Then we have this G. Move this G over here. Then we have this L. Select this L and move this over here. Then we have this E. Select this E and let's move this over here. Okay, now after all of this, we will select this logo and we will delete it. Not delete it, but we will delete the fill, and we will try to move this logo over here from here to here. And now let's select this G, go to the effect and presets panel, apply fill, and with the help of this picker we will pick up this color. For this O, apply fill, with the help of this picker pick up this color. Select this, apply fill, pick up yellow color. Select this G, apply fill, select this, pick up this color. Select this L, apply this fill, pick up this color. And for the last, apply this fill, pick up this red color, and then we will delete this logo. So now if you see this, we are getting something like this. And now I want this one by one, so obviously you can take a distance of 5 frames. So I'm going to take a distance of 5 frames over here like this and adjust them one by one. Okay, so now if I see this animation, I'm gonna get something like this. Okay, if you want, you can take a distance of 10 frames as well, because this looks a little bit faster. like this. Okay, and you can go inside this, select all of them and enable their motion blur by hitting Ctrl A, select all, and make sure to enable the motion blur for each and every layer. And I'm going to press Ctrl K, and I'm going to choose 59.94. Press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and try to bring this over here. And now if you hit play, it will take a little bit time to load because we have enabled the motion blur, but your final output would be nicer like this. Okay, so now if you see this animation, we are gonna get something like this. Okay, and now select all of these layers and try to adjust it properly at the center like that. If you want, you can right click new and create one null object, select all of them, make it apparent with this null, select this null, press S and adjust the scale of it a little bit. Okay, like that. So what will happen is that you will get this kind of animation over here. Okay, I'll adjust it somewhere around over here so I can see this pop up properly. Okay, over here. Now let's delete this null object. I'm going to select all of these layers and I'll press Ctrl Shift C and I'm going to call it as animation. After that, hit Ctrl D, go to the effect and presets panel and I'm going to search for find edge effect and double click to apply and invert this, or let's keep it as it is and bring this downwards. And let's go somewhere around over here, go few frame forward and let's move this over here with the help of open square bracket. So we are gonna get something like that effect. Okay, and if you want one like cartoony stuff, bring this at the top. Okay, like that, and press F4 and choose blending mode screen over here like that. Okay, we will get something like this, or you can choose multiply as well. So now if you see this animation, we are gonna get this kind of effect as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, with the help of this effect we can create multiple outcomes. Like you can select this and you can choose overlay as well, so you will get different results. If you choose screen and if you choose invert, you will get this kind of stuff, and just move this a little bit over here like that and then you will get different results. So now let's do one thing. I'm going to close all of this and we will create some different outcomes of this. Okay, with the help of just this layer. Okay, in case if you're not understanding what I did over here, let's try to do it again. I'll delete this. Basically we have this animation layer that we have did. Now let's select this layer, hit Ctrl D and let's apply find edge effect. Okay, and as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of stroke like structure over here. Okay, if you choose blending mode, if you choose blending mode somewhere around screen over here, okay, you will get different results like this. And if you move this backward, all you need to do, let's go few frame forward over here, take a distance of 10 frames and move this way over here with the help of open square bracket. So now what will happen at, you will get that extra stuff over here, and if you choose inverted you will get different results. Now I'm going to choose this one and let's choose blending mode overlay or something, or even multiply. You will get this kind of stuff. Okay, we will get something like this. Okay, so this is the first outcome. Let's hit Control 0. I'm going to select this main animation comp and I'll hit Control D, and not this much, but let's go and select the second one. On this one, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to bring this layer at the top. So what will happen is that we are gonna get this stroke kind of structure for our animation like this. Okay, if I hit Control D, let's open and double click to open this. What I can do is I can select this, I can go to the effect and presets panel, and if I invert this and if I choose screen, I'm gonna get this kind of stroke effect, and I can move this a little bit over here like that. So still I'm gonna get different results. We will get this kind of outline kind of structure. Okay, like that. So as you guys can see, with the help of just a simple effect, we can create three outcomes with the help of that, just by alternating layers. Okay, so this is how you can create this kind of Google Okay, so before we use After Effects, we have to separate each and every alphabet of this Google logo in Adobe Photoshop. Now I got this Google logo, which is in a PNG format, and now what I'm gonna do over here, I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to select this G. I'll hit Control X, I'll create a new layer and I'll press Control Shift V to paste in place. Double click and let's call it as G. Then I'm going to hide this. Same procedure I'm gonna do for this O as well. Hit Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click and let's call it as O, and let's hide this. Similarly, select this O as well, Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click, call it as O, and hide this. Again, select this G, Control X, new, Control Shift V, double click, let's call it as G, hide this. Select this L, hit Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click, and let's call it as L. Okay, and double click and let's call it as E. Okay, and let's save this file. Now we will go to Adobe After Effects and we will create a new composition. We are going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate just for now I'm going to choose 30 seconds. Duration you can choose whatever duration you want, and background color I'm going to choose white color and hit OK. Then I'm going to go in choose grid and guide option and I'll hit on title safe action. Then I'm going to press Ctrl I and I'm going to select my Photoshop file, import as footage. Instead of that, I'm going to choose composition, return layer sizes and simply hit import and hit OK. Double click to open this, select this Google logo, hit Ctrl C to copy, go to the main animation and hit Ctrl V. But as you guys can see, the size is too much. So simply right click new and create one null object. Simply select all of them by holding shift and make it apparent with this null object. Then select this null object and press S and let's make the scale 20 and or let's say 30. Yeah, 30 looks good to me. And let's delete this. Hit Control A and let's try to adjust the position of this all along somewhere around over here. Or let's try to bring this over the center. Okay, this position looks good to me, or if you want, you can be specific about it like that. Okay, now after that, I'm going to press Ctrl R to bring ruler and I'm going to bring this ruler over here just like this. Okay, now we need to animate this one by one. So let's hide this and select this G, go to the effect and not effect and presets but align tab, and let's choose align horizontally so it will automatically come over here. Now I'm going to select my pen tool over here and let's zoom in. Then let's move this just for now. Then from here to here I'm going to create one line and go to the stroke options. With the help of this picker I'm going to pick up this color and hit OK, and let's increase the stroke width to somewhere around, let's say 20. Okay, now let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab and we are going to choose align horizontally. Press Y for pen behind tool and let's bring this anchor point over here like that. Okay, you can select this and press R and you can rotate it. We need to make sure that this is going to cover this G like that. Okay, so this looks good to me. Now let's select this, hit enter and let's call it as G line. Okay, now after that go to the add menu and we are going to choose trim path. Go to the trim path and we need to move this from here to here. So let's make this end value 0 to create one keyframe. Then go to around 1 second and let's make this value 100. Okay, like that, and let's move this over here. Then I'm going to select those keyframe and I'll hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph and by holding shift move one handle over here and move one handle over here. Okay, so we are gonna get this kind of stuff. Now after that somewhere around at this point, let's minimize this. I want this G should come out of this stroke, so let's select this G and with the help of open square bracket I'm going to move this over here. Press P for position to create one keyframe. Go few frame forward to create another keyframe. At the start I'm going to bring this downwards. Now we need one mask over here. So for that what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to delete this stroke. I don't need that stroke. And for the fill, I'm going to choose any color and let's create this kind of rectangle over here. And this rectangle is going to be mask. So hit enter and let's call it as G mask and hit OK. and we are going to make it apparent with this G line. And let's select this G mask at top of this G. Select this G and choose alpha mask, or yeah, alpha mask, like that. So if you see this now, we are gonna get something like this. Now select this G and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, I'm going to move this handle over here. So if you see, we are getting something like that. Then somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select this G line. I'll press R for rotation to create one keyframe. I'll go somewhere around over here and I'm going to rotate it like this. So let's make this -90, like that. Select those keyframe and hit F9. After that, go to the graph editor again. Select this, move this graph over here and move this graph over here, like that. So we will get something like this. So if you see this now, first we will get this and then we'll get this. Now when this is going to get up over here, what I want is that this O should start to get revealed. So let's enable this O as well as this O. I'm going to select both of them and I'll go to the align tab and I'm going to choose align horizontally. And as you guys can see, all of them are coming over here, but we want them at the center. So let's move this over here. Now obviously this O should animate first. So with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move this over here and I'll select this mask over here, which is G mask. I'll hit Control D and I'll bring over here and I'm going to select this O and choose alpha inverted mask. So you'll get something like that. Then select this G mask over here, hit enter, and this time I'm going to call it as O mask. Okay. So now if you see this animation over here, we will get this and then we'll get this. Now somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select this G line over here, press S, unlink this, create one keyframe, go somewhere around 3 seconds, and let's bring this value, not this value but this value, somewhere around like this. Okay, over here. Yeah, I think this much looks good. Then select this and press P as well to create one keyframe. Hit U, go over here, and let's bring this downward like this. Okay, and yeah, select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and let's move this handle over here, like that. So we'll get something like this. Now after that, if you see, first we'll get this and then we'll get this. Now when all of this is happening, what I want is that this O, which is if you bring this at the top over here, this we need certain animation for this O as well. So I'm going to select this O and let's bring this over here and let's hide this just for now, or before that we need to select our O over here, and by holding shift I'm going to create one. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home. Go to the align tab and choose align horizontally. Then press P for position. Let's go to the fit and let's bring this over here. Create one keyframe. Go few frame forward and let's try to bring this over here like that. Okay, and then we need this to be gone. So for that, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this, hit enter, and let's call it as O drop. After that, select this position, right click and choose let's say separate dimension. Okay, like that. Then after all of this, when this is coming near this O, let's bring this properly over here. Then go few frame forward. We need to bring this from here to here like that, and then we need to bring this downward like this, totally out of this composition like that. And in middle of that, I'm going to bring this Y position somewhere around over here. Okay, we will get something like this. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this Y position keyframe and let's hit F9. uh, Hit F9 over here. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here. Select this and move this handle over here. Okay, so if you see this now, we'll get something like this. And when this ball is going to touch this O, I want this O should be start to appear. So I'm going to bring this over here and select this O mask and this O and hold Alt, close square bracket to trim up to this. Okay, so now it will look like that because of this, they are changing color. So if you see this now, we will get this, and then this. Now after that, what we want over here is that this G should start to appear. So enable this G and let's bring this at the top over here. Similarly, we have this G line. We need to bring this at the top as well. Okay, like that. Even if you see, we will get same animation over here like this. After that, somewhere around at this point, I want another thing over here. So let's try to do it. I am going to select this G line, press P for position to create one keyframe, go few frame forward, and let's bring this line from here to here like that. But if you see, we are getting this kind of trouble. So what we can do over here, I'm going to select this G line somewhere around at this point when this animation is ending over here, and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift D to split this line. And this time hit enter and let's call it as small G line. Okay. Now select this and hit U this time, and we need to delete all the keyframe, position, scale, rotation, similarly this one as well. And this time I'm going to select this line and I'll press Ctrl Alt Home so that the anchor point is automatically gonna come at the center like that. Then after that I'm going to select this G line and press P for position to create one keyframe, go to around 4 seconds, and we are going to bring this from here to here like that, and select those keyframe and we will hit F9. So we will get something like this. Now at this point I want this G should start to appear, so let's see this animation first. This, and I think this animation is starting a little bit early, so let's bring this over here. Similarly select this line and let's bring this over here like that. Okay, then I'm going to select this G line and go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So we will get a little bit of depth or in, or what we can say, ease in, ease out. Then select this G and bring this at the center like that. Now we need mask over here. So for that I'm going to select this rectangle tool and I'm going to create this mask. Let's select this, hit enter and let's call it as G mask. And let's try to bring this on just G over here, which is G. And with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to select this too and move this over here and choose alpha inverted mask and select this G mask and make it apparent with this upper G line. So we'll get something like this. Now, because of this G mask, we need this O should disappear. So select this G mask and hit Ctrl D, hit enter and let's call it as O mask now. And bring this at the top of this O, which is the yellow one. And over here, we are going to choose alpha mask. Okay, so you'll get something like this. And make sure to select this O, hit I, and we need to bring this mask up to this point. Then only we can see this transition like that. Okay, over here. Then we all be left with this L. So let's select this L. Let's bring this at the top and let's go to the align tab and we will move this over here and we will try to bring this over here like that. Then what I want is that this G should be getting converted into this L over here. So for that, what we can do over here is that select this G line and press P for position to create one keyframe. Then in search option, you can type stroke as well, stroke width, create one keyframe. Similarly, you can type fill, go to the fill option and create one keyframe at color and hit U. Then I'm gonna go somewhere around at 6 seconds and now simply select this G line, go to the align tab and choose align horizontally like that. Then we need to bring this stroke width to be parallel with this L. Then we need to change the color of this one to yellow like that. But before all of this, we have to make sure that when this animation is starting, I'm going to select this G line and I'll press Ctrl Shift D to duplicate it. And let's bring this at the top and let's hit enter and let's call it as L line. Okay. And hit U. We need to delete these keyframes. We don't need that. So we can focus on this one. So it will automatically come over here. Okay. Like that. Let's select this over here. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Okay, I did one mistake over here. The color positions are wrong. So let's delete those color keyframes. Actually, I have applied the color keyframes on the fill. We need to apply this on the stroke. So create one keyframe over here. Go at this point and let's change the color of this one to this and hit F9. Sorry, hit F9. And at this point, it should be at the center. Similarly, at the start, I'll press S, create one keyframe, hit U, go over here, zoom in, and I'm going to adjust the scale on this axis to somewhere up to this. Okay, select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Okay, now after that, I'm going to delete this L. We don't need that, so let's delete this L like that. Okay, hit U like that. Okay, but as you guys can see, this animation looks weird. So what we can do over here is that we need to move this G. So I'm going to select this and let's hit F9 and go to the graph editor, and let's go inside this. Let's select this graph. I mean, let's select this, and at this point I'm going to select this position keyframe, hit Ctrl C Ctrl V over here like that. Then select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So we will get something like this. Now at this point, I want this G should be gone. So for that, I'm going to select this G mask and I'll press P for position, create one keyframe, go somewhere around over here, and I'm going to move this from here to here, select those keyframe and hit F9 like this. And if you want, you can move this little bit and move this from here to here as well, like this. Okay, so it will go a little bit like this. So now if you see this animation from the start, if you hit U to minimize all of this, first I'll get this, then I'll get this, then I'll get this, and then I'm gonna get this. Now all we remain is this E. So for that, I'm going to bring this E at the top like that. And I want the bouncing animation over here. So for that, what we can do over here is that we can do something like, let's select this, press P, right click and choose separate dimension. And I want this animation should start somewhere around from 4 seconds, but we will try to animate this from here. So go to 6 second and move this over here. Let's select this first and go to the align tab to bring this over here. Create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Then go somewhere around 9 second. Again create another keyframe. Go to the start and let's bring this X position over here. Create one keyframe at Y at this point and one keyframe at Y at this point. In the middle, let's bring this over here like that. Similarly over here, Control C, Control V this keyframe. In the middle, Control C, Control V. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, zoom in. Select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here. Move this handle over here. This handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here and this handle over here. this should be over here as well as this should be over here. Okay, so we are getting something like that. Similarly, press R for rotation to create one keyframe and hit U. Then go somewhere around over here and we have to rotate it like that. So let's make this -3. Okay, so we are gonna get this kind of animation, but I want this animation should start and get over somewhere around at this point. So let's bring this over here like that. So if you see this now, we'll get this, 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 and then this. Or let's move this a little bit over here. Okay, there should be sign for this L. And when this is gonna come over here, somewhere around at that point, I'm going to select this L, but I cannot move this like that. So I'm going to select this L and I'll press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer, hit U, and I'm going to delete all those keyframes. We don't need that. I'm going to select this and I'll press Y for pen behind tool, and by holding Ctrl, I'm going to bring this anchor point downwards. I'll create one keyframe at S and hit U, hit page down button 2 to 3 times to go over here, and let's make this 0 value on this axis. Okay, like that. And let's try to bring this E downwards somewhere around over here. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Okay, like that. Now after that, let's go and see this animation. First I'll get this, this, then this. Now after that, so hit U, select this E, press P for position, create one keyframe at X, go few frame forward, and let's move this over here. And select those Y position keyframes, hit F9, go to the graph, select this by holding shift, move this handle over here, like that. Now let's press F4, select all of them and enable the motion blur. Hit Ctrl K, and I'm going to choose frame rate to somewhere around 55.94. And now let's play this animation. I'll get this, like that, and then this, and hit N over here. So now as you guys can see, we are gonna get this Google logo animation, which is in a, you can say, quite in a creative way, and it is going to be in the form of logo. Okay, now select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as animation and hit OK, and press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and bring this downwards. Select this layer, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply. Increase the distance to 40, softness to 500, and color we will pick up this blue color. Okay, like that. Or let's make this softness to 300 and distance to 20, like that. And color not complete blue but somewhere around like this blue. Okay, so we are gonna get this kind of stuff. Then let's make this opacity to 25. Select this, right click, layer styles, and we are going to choose bevel and emboss. Go to the bevel and emboss and let's increase the softness as well as size. And over here, let's decrease the opacity. Hit U. Okay, and now we are going to see this animation. First, I'll get this, and then I'll get this. Okay, it will take a little bit time to load after adding this effect because this effect is quite heavy. But let's see. And we will get something like this. And here you go, our final animation is ready, and you can play around with this kind of animation with any logo. Okay, this is quite a fun way to create this kind of looping logo animations. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we will call it as main animation, as always we do. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate currently we will choose 30 seconds, and background color should be black color, and simply hit OK. Then choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title section. Then I have Nike logo over here. You can choose any logo you want, but right now it is in black PNG logo. So I'll go to the effect and presets panel and I'll search for fill effect and I'll double click to apply, and I'm going to choose white color for this, and I'll press S for scaling option and I'll make this scale somewhere around 70. Now let's select this and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and we will choose move all attributes into new composition, and we are going to call it as 01 Nike. Okay, and simply hit enter. Let's go inside this, and over here we are going to animate this. So let's select this, press P for position, and let's move this over here. Then press S, create one keyframe. Press P, create another keyframe, and hit U so you can see both the keyframes. Then go to around 20 or let's say 1 second, and let's select this and type your original position, which is 960, and we will type scaling keyframe as well to create one keyframe. Then go to the start and let's make this scale 0. Then we will go to around 2 seconds, and I'm going to move this from here to here, and let's make this scale 0. Then after this animation, as you guys can see, we are getting something like that. I'm going to select this keyframe and I'm going to hit F9. I'll go to the not Adobe After Effects, sorry. I'll go to the graph editor. I'll select this graph by holding shift. Let's move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Similarly, select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So we will get something like this. Okay, like that. I think this looks good to me. Or you can select this, and if you hit F9 over here, you will get this normal animations like that. Okay, so it's totally up to you. I'm going to select this. I'll bring not too much, but only somewhere around like this only. So I'll get something like this. Now let's select this, and by holding Alt, I'm going to move this duration up to 1.10 frames around like this. So I'll get this kind of animation. I'm going to select this animation and move to somewhere around 1 second. Okay, so we will get this kind of animation. If you want, you can increase the animation later as well. Now let's go to the main animation over here, and I'll press Ctrl Y to create one, let's say somewhere around black background over here. Then I'm going to select this black solid. I'll press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose this, and I'm going to call it as map and hit OK. Double click to open this, and over here I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to delete this stroke. I don't need that stroke, and for the fill I'm going to choose white color and simply create this kind of rectangle. Now select this and press Ctrl Alt Home. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Then right click new and create one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for mosaic effect and double click to apply. So as you guys can see, we are getting a little bit stuff over here, but what we will do, I'm going to select this shape layer and I'm gonna go in effect and presets panel and I'll search for Gaussian blur effect and double click to apply, and we will increase the blurriness value so we will get more stuff. I'm going to make this blurriness somewhere around 400. Then select this adjustment layer. Let's choose horizontal block 30 as well as vertical block 30. So we will get this kind of stuff, or let's say 20 or something. I think this looks good to me. Now let's go to the main animation. Let's hide this map. Select this Nike composition and apply time displacement effect and double click to apply. And we are going to choose this map over here. And now if I see this animation over here, I'm gonna get this kind of stuff. Okay, like this. If I select this, let's go somewhere around this point, somewhere around over here. Let's select this, hit Ctrl D, and let's try to move this over. As you guys can see, we can get this animation again and again. So let's hit Ctrl 0 to open the project settings. Select this 01 Nike and hit Ctrl D to duplicate. Double click to open this. And at this point, what I'm gonna do, I'll go somewhere around over here in the middle, and I'm going to delete this last keyframe. I don't need that. Now let's do first thing first. We need some animations over here. So I know that my animation is basically starting from this point over here, somewhere around 20 frame, let's say. So let's select this, hold Alt to open square bracket to trim up to this, Alt and open square bracket, and then go to the start, and with the help of simple open square bracket, I'll bring this over here. So I'll get this animation somewhere around at this point. Okay, like this. Now I'm going to select this. I'll hit Control D to duplicate it. I'll hit page down button 2 to 3 times, and with the help of open square bracket, I'll move this over here. Again hit Control D, again 3 times, move this over here. Again hit Control D, again 3 times, and let's move this over here. So we are gonna get something like this. Now let's go to the fifth layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill effect and double click to apply, and apply fill red color. Select fourth, choose green color like this. Then select this color over here, apply fill effect and choose blue color like this over here. So if you see this now, we are getting something like that. Select this, apply fill effect and choose black color over here. Then I'm going to select this layer. I'll hit Control D and let's choose white color. And after that, I'm going to apply find edge effect and double click to apply and choose invert. And let's bring this a little bit over here like that. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. And then I'll hit Control 0. I'm going to select this Nike logo, hit Control D, select this Nike 2, and by holding Alt, I'm going to replace it over here. So if you see this now, we will get something like this, and bring this Nike 2 somewhere in the middle of these two like that. Okay, then select this Nike 2, hit Control D, go to the effect and presets and delete this find edge effect like this. So now if you see this animation, we are gonna get something like this over here. Okay, now you can go to this Nike or Nike over here, and if you want, you can select those and you can bring this position a little bit over here, so you will get some animation extra, and you can move this similarly over here. Okay, so we will get some more time for animation, and if you see this animation now, we will get something like this over here. Okay, like that. Now all after all of this, press Ctrl Y to create one black background, and let's bring this downwards like this. Now select all the logos including this map and press Ctrl Shift C, and we will call it as logo animation and hit OK. Then hit Ctrl D, press S, unlink this, and let's make this -100. Press P for position, and let's bring down the position downwards. Then press S, unlink this, link this, and let's not link this, but try to adjust this value to somewhere around -60, and press P for position, and let's try to bring this over here like that. Then I'm going to select this. I'll go to the rectangle tool and I'm going to create this kind of mask. Then go to the mask and let's increase the mask feather somewhere around like this. Then press T for opacity and let's make the opacity to 30. So if you see this now, we will get this kind of reflection. Now after that, right click new and create one null object. Select both the layers and make it a parent with this null. Select this null, press P for position, alt click on the stopwatch and apply wiggle 3,3, and we will get this kind of a little bit wiggle animation over here. Then you can right click new and apply one adjustment layer, and you can go to the effect and presets panel and you can search for glow effect, and then increase the glow threshold to 90, glow radius to somewhere around 120, and glow intensity to 0.2. Okay, so now if you're gonna see, we will get something like this. If you want, you can go inside this logo animation, you can select this last logos, press F4, and you can choose blending mode to somewhere around screen. Okay, like that. Okay, so you will get proper this kind of effect. Okay, and now if you see, this is a proper logo animation. But if you want to give this animation a kind of a retro look, let's say, what you can do, let's go to around 4 seconds and hit N. If you see this animation, we will get something like this. If you want to give this animation a little bit retro look, what you can do, select this black color background, press Ctrl Shift Y to open the project setting, solid settings, and instead of black, let's choose a little bit of grayish color. Okay, and then go to the effect and presets panel and search for CC vintage effect and double click to apply. After that, right click new and create one adjustment layer a little bit more and apply posterize time effect and double click to apply, and you can give this frame rate up to 15. Okay, so what will happen now, we will get this animation like it is running in a 15 frames per second like that. After that, you on the same layer you can apply another effect called noise. So what will happen that it will add a little bit noise in our animation. So let's apply this noise effect a little bit and increase a little bit noise amount somewhere around, let's say 10. And let's go to the start and play this animation like this. I think the 10 is very less, so let's make this 25. Go to the start and let's hit play. So as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of effect. Okay, so this is how you can give this animation a retro look as well. Now it's totally up to you, you can choose whatever you want. I'll go with this animation, but this looks quite good to me. Okay, so here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation, as always we do. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate we are going to choose 30 seconds, and duration I'm going to choose somewhere around 2 minutes long, not 2 seconds. Or let's do one thing, we make this 1 minute long only. And background color we are going to choose black color and simply hit OK and then hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and hit on title selection. Now again I'm going to press Ctrl N and I'm going to call it as wheel, and width over here I'm going to choose 1080 and height also 1080 and simply hit OK. Then we are going to select our ellipse tool, and for the fill I'm going to choose black color, and for the stroke I'm going to choose white color. Or let's delete this fill for now, we will add fill later. And stroke width I'm going to choose 20 pixels. Then simply double click on this ellipse, so it will automatically create one ellipse. And as you guys can see, the stroke width is little bit low, so let's make this somewhere around 50. I think this much looks good. Then press S for scaling option and let's scale the size a little bit lower. After that, I'm going to select my pen tool, and from here to here by holding shift I'll create one stroke, and stroke width let's choose around 10 pixels. Okay, or let's select this, or let's make this 25, not too much. Okay, now let's select this. Then we'll go to the add menu and we are going to choose repeater, and go to the repeater and transform repeater 1. But before doing that, you need to understand the anchor point of this portion should be at the bottom, then only it is going to work. Then let's make this position, right now it is 100, so let's make this 0, and I need number of copies to 20, and I want this 20 copies equally distributed in this circle. So over here in rotation I'm going to type 360 divided by 20 and hit enter. So now as you guys can see, we will automatically get those wheels lines. After that, I don't want anything at the center. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select my ellipse, and this time I'm going to choose black color for this fill, and I'll delete the stroke. And by holding shift, I'm going to create one ellipse. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now select this ellipse and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press S and let's decrease the scale, and this time let's go to the fill option and let's choose grayish color over here. Then this looks good to me. Now after that, simply right click new and create one null object. Select all of these layers by holding shift and make it a parent with this null. Then select this null, press R for rotation, create one keyframe. Then I'm gonna go somewhere around 8 second over here, properly 8 second, and I'm going to make this rotation 4 and hit N over here. So if you see this now, we will get this kind of rotation. Then alt click on the stopwatch and type loop out expression over there. Okay, so this is our wheel. Now let's hit Ctrl N to create another composition, and this is going to be our text strip. So let's type text strip, and width over here I'm going to choose 1920 and height I'm going to choose 200 and hit OK. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background, and we are going to choose white color over here, and let's lock this layer. Then I'm going to select my text tool, and you can type whatever font you want. I'm going to choose babies. Then you can type whatever text over here. I'm going to type motion graphics, and I'm going to copy this text, hit spacebar like this. Then select this layer and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S and let's increase the size of this over here like this. Okay. Now, as you guys can see, the size is little bit bigger. So press Ctrl K and let's make this height somewhere around 100. So it will get something like this. Okay. So, and now we need to make this animation in the form of loop. So let's select this and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Select this first layer and press P for position to create one keyframe. Then go to somewhere around 8 seconds. Select your selection tool, and by holding shift, I'm going to move this text outside this composition. Okay. And select this second text and make it apparent with this first one. Okay. So you will get this kind of animation. Now alt click on the stopwatch and let's type loop out expression over there like this. Okay. So what will happen that after 8 seconds we will get this kind of looping animation. Okay. So our main portion is ready. Now wheel and text strip is ready. So let's go to the main animation. First thing first, I'm going to bring my wheel over here. As you guys can see, the size is too much. So press S and let's decrease the size over here. And let's try to bring this wheel properly over here in such a way that the edge of this wheel should touch properly edge of this composition like this. If you see, the edge is properly touching the end of this composition like this. Okay. Similarly, select this wheel, hit Ctrl D and let's try to bring this a little bit over here. Again, hit Ctrl D. Let's try to bring this over here. Hit Ctrl D and let's try to bring this over here in such a way that it should properly touch the edge of this composition as well. Okay, so these things are ready. So this is going to be the first wheels. Now after that, right click new and create one null object, and let's select all of this and make it apparent with this null. Then select this null and press P for position to create one keyframe. Let's go somewhere around 8 seconds over here, and by holding shift I'm going to move this out of somewhere around like this. Okay, over here. As you guys can see, these things are now out of the composition like this. Okay, this looks good to me. Now I'm going to select these wheels, and by hitting Ctrl D I'm going to create duplicate of this and I'll bring them at the top, and from here I'm going to change the color to red, and also I'm going to disable this parenting like this. So we will get these wheels over here as well. Then we will go to around 8 seconds over here. I'm going to select all of this, and at this point I'm going to make it apparent with this null 2. So now if you see, we are getting something like this. Now if I go to 8 seconds and if I hit N over here and if I try to play from here, as you guys can see, we are going to get this animation continuously like in the form of loop. Now let's select all of these wheels and let's change the color of this one to red only, so it would be easy to understand like that. Now let's lock this layers because our this stuff is ready. Now we need to focus on our text strip. So let's bring our text strip first. We will bring this over here. Now it is too long, so press S to scale it, and let's try to bring this over here like that. And let's disable this snapping just for now. And let's bring this over here. Press Y for pen behind tool and let's try to bring this over here. Then hit W for rotation tool and let's try to rotate it like this. Now the size is too much, so let's try to adjust the size like this. Now hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press Y for pen behind tool and bring this over here by holding Ctrl. Hit W and let's try to rotate it like this. Press S and let's decrease the size a little bit like this. So if you see, we are getting something like this. Okay. And over here, if you see, this is happening in a opposite direction. So we need to select this, press R for rotation, and we should rotate it like this. But before that, we need to select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align the anchor point to properly at the center. And then we need to rotate it like this. Okay, over here. Okay, this looks good to me. Then select this text strip and hit Ctrl D. Let's bring this over here like this. Hit W and let's rotate it like this. Press S and let's adjust the size somewhere around like this. Okay, over here. Then let's bring this at the top. Then again hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Then go somewhere around in the middle over here at this point. But before that, go over here, select all of these text strips and let's make it apparent with this null. Okay, like this. Then we will select this text strip over here, which is extra one. We need to bring this over here like that. Just for now over here, let's select this, hit W and let's rotate it in such a way that it should touch this one. Then press R for rotation and let's rotate it like, S for scaling option, and let's scale it like this. So if you see this now, we will get this kind of stuff over here. But at the end over here, if you see, we are not going to get this in the form of loop because we need to create duplicates of it. So let's hit U, select all of these text strips, and again we need to follow the same procedure. Hit Ctrl D and let's duplicate at the top and change the color of this one to pink, let's say, just for our understanding. And let's make this none. And let's go to somewhere around over here at this point. Okay, at the end. And now we will make it apparent with this null. Okay, over here like this. Okay, so if you see this now, we are getting something like this over here, like this. Now there is one error over here. If you see at this point, because we don't have this per line particularly, if you see at the end 8 seconds, we don't have this strip at the start. So what we can do, we will go to 8 second. I'm going to select this strip only and I'll hit Ctrl D and I'll try to bring this at the top, and let's delete the parenting and let's go to the start, and this time I'm going to make it apparent with this null. So now if you see, all of them are going to be properly in a loopable format over here. So let's bring this over here properly like this. Okay, so if you see this now, we are gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. Now we just need to check it out whether they are properly arranged or not. At the start, it's over here. Let's select this null object, hit U, go to the end, and at this point I think we need to bring this over here. Okay, this looks good to me. Okay, so now sometime what happens is that when we do looping animations, we'll get some errors. For example, over here we are getting one error. If you see this properly, we are getting this jitter effect over here. So to fix that, what we can do, I'm going to press Ctrl R over here and I'll go at the start and I'm going to try to create our grid line. So let's bring this line over here like this, and as you guys can see, this portion is touching this portion. Okay, so let's go to the fit and let's go to the end point over here, and over here if you see, it's not touching because all of them are crossing these lines. So let's select uppermost this strips over here, including this one. Okay, we need to select that like this, and make sure that we are not selecting anything from here. If we are, let's deselect this and zoom in, and simply with the help of arrow keys try to move this over here like that. Okay, so now if you make this fit, and let's see, we are getting this in a proper loopable format. Okay, now if you see this, we are getting this kind of animation in a form of loop. Now we need to select this text strips and we need to bring them after the wheels. Okay, because we don't want these wheels to showcase over here. So if you see, we are getting this kind of loopable animation. Now let's minimize all of this. Not minimize, unlock all of this. Now over here, I'm going to select this text strip. I'll go to the effect and presets panel, and let's apply some effect. I'm going to apply tint effect over here, and let's double click to apply, and instead of white color I want this neon greenish color over here. Then copy this tint effect and hit Ctrl C. I'll select this layer, I'll hit Ctrl V and I'll swap this color like this. I'll select this and I'll hit Ctrl V. I'll select this and I'll swap this color over here like this. Then I'm selecting this, hit Ctrl V. I'll select this and I'll Ctrl V and I'll swap this color. I'll select this and I'll hit Ctrl V. Then again, I'm going to select this last one, which is this one, hit Ctrl V and swap this color. So now if you see, we are getting this kind of colors over here. Now if you want, you can go inside this wheel over here and you can copy this greenish color code, hit Ctrl C to copy. You can go to the wheels, you can select this one and hit Ctrl V over here to apply this color over here like this. Okay. And you can go over here, you can select this backstroke, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, go over here and hit Ctrl V and let's decrease the size of this one, and you can select those layers and bring them downwards, so we will get something like this. Or you can select this one portion over here which is in green color. We don't need this color over here, we can choose black color over here instead, so we are getting this kind of proper shape animations over here. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to press Ctrl Y and I'll choose some grayish color background over here, and let's try to bring this at the bottom over here. And if you see, we are getting this kind of animation over here like that. You can go to the effect and presets panel and search for CC vintage effect. Okay, so we will get this kind of effect. And I think this looks cool with the white, I mean black background as well. Or you, instead of the white color, you can select this layer and press Ctrl Shift Y, and instead of this you can choose a little bit of grayish color over here like this, and then you can apply CNC vintage effect and you can increase the angle of view as well as this amount. Okay, so now if you see, we are gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. Then final final thing we need to do is that instead of this black background, I mean grayish background, select all the remaining layers and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and let's call it as animation and hit OK. And let's click on this icon, and now press R for rotation, create one keyframe, go to around 8 seconds, and let's make this one complete rotation. Okay, like that. So if you see this now, we are gonna get this kind of animation over here like that. But if you see this animation, this looks very fast. So what we can do, let's go inside this and let's delete this rotation keyframe for now. Let's go inside this animation, zoom in a little bit, and at 8 seconds I'm going to right click and choose trim comp to work area. Then in main animation, I'll go at the end of this animation by hitting O, then right click time and choose time enable remapping. And before last keyframe, I'll create one keyframe and I'll delete this last keyframe. Then I'll alt click on this stopwatch to apply loop out expression over here like this, and let's deselect this layer. Okay, so now 8 plus 8 is 16. Even at 16 seconds over here, if I hit N, if I hit N, I'm gonna get this animation in the form of loop. So select this animation, press R for rotation, create one keyframe, and at 16 seconds I'm going to make this one complete rotation. So now along with this animation, what is going to happen is that we will get this animation of rotating as well, like this. And the fun part is that even after all of this animation is going to be in the form of loop. Okay, so this is how you can create this kind of interesting animation inside of After Effects. We are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate I'm going to choose 30 seconds, and background color I'm going to choose white color, and simply hit OK and hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title save action. Now I'm going to select my ellipse and I don't want any stroke, so I'll delete the stroke. And for the color I'm going to choose black color, and by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse. Now let's select this ellipse and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now press P for position, select this, right click and choose separate dimensions, and let's create one keyframe at Y. Then we will go somewhere around downwards like this. Then we'll go to around 20 frame, and let's make this value again somewhere around 500, and press V, and let's try to bring this over here like that. Sorry, let's align it properly. Let's bring this over here, then go somewhere around over here, and let's bring this in the middle. So click on this icon. So let's select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So now it will give a look like a bouncing animation. Now select these keyframes, and by holding Alt I'm going to bring this up to 25 frames. So we will get something like this. And when this point is gonna come over here, I'm going to select this layer and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. And let's select this first layer and change the color to yellow. Select this layer and let's delete the keyframe. Now in search option, let's search for size and create one keyframe and hit U. Now let's select this and this time I'm going to delete the fill, I don't need. And for the stroke, choose black color and simply hit OK, and let's increase the size of the stroke somewhere around like this. Let's enable this. Okay, let's make this value 200. Let's minimize this. Okay, now let's if you see, we are getting this point over here. Now let's select this and hold Alt and open square bracket, and initially I'm going to choose 0. Then I'll go somewhere around 20 frames, and let's increase the size of this to somewhere around like this. Let's select this one and choose red color just for now. Sorry, select this and let's increase the size. Now let's select this value again and hit Ctrl D, select this one and change the color of this one to a little bit grayish color, just for our understanding that this is a different layer. And let's move this over here, select this, hit Ctrl D, select this and let's increase the size of this one again, and let's choose black color like this. Select this, hit Ctrl D, select this, let's choose grayish color again, just for our understanding, something like this. Select this, hit Ctrl D, select this last layer, choose black color again and increase the size like this over here. Okay, I think this much looks good. Hit U, and now if you see, we'll get this and we'll get this. Now let's select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here like this. Okay, over here. Then zoom in, zoom out, and by let's bring this last keyframe somewhere around 2.10 like this. Okay, now as you guys can see, it looks like this is happening a little bit late, so let's try to bring those somewhere around over here. Or you can select those keyframe, you can go to the graph editor, select this, and by holding shift we need to bring this over here so it will act a little bit faster. Then we need to take a gap between these portions, but we'll do that later. After completing this animation, we need a trim path animation between these. So let's select this uppermost one and go to the add menu, and we are going to choose trim path. Then go to the trim path, and we can, as you guys can see, we can end this animation like this. So let's create one keyframe, then go to around 4 seconds and let's make this value 0 or somewhere around, let's say 1. Okay, not 0 but 1, and select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like this. Okay, now what we need to do over here, we need to select this trim path. We will hit Ctrl C and make sure that during copying this trim path, you need to be on the this keyframe over here. So copy this trim path by hitting Ctrl C, and let's hit U. Select all the other layers and hit Ctrl V to apply that trim path and hit U. So as you guys can see, we are getting this animation. Okay, so if you see this now, first we'll get this and then we will get this. Now let's select those trim path last keyframes and try to bring them a little bit closer like this. and then somewhere around at this point over here I'm going to press S. Let's create one keyframe, then go over here and let's make this value 0, and now select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the start, go to the keyframe, select this, zoom in a little bit, by holding shift move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So we will get something like this, or you can bring this a little bit over here, okay, over here, or you can select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, by holding shift move one handle over here and move one handle over here like this. Okay, now if you see this animation, first we will get this, then we will get this, and then we will get this. Okay, let's increase the duration of this animation. So select those keyframe, let's bring them at the start, so it will try to scale down a little bit early, and it should be over here. Now what I'm gonna do over here is that I'm going to select this topmost layer over here, and let's choose the grayish color over here like this, and select those alternate layers over here, and let's choose white color over here. So if you see, first we'll get this, and now this animation should be one by one. So I'm going to take a distance somewhere around over here like this, like this, and like this. Okay, so if you see, we are getting something like this. Let's hit U. Okay, now we need to apply some drop shadow effect. So select this topmost layer first, and select this layer, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply, and let's increase the softness to somewhere around like this. Then select this drop shadow effect by hitting Ctrl C, select all the remaining layers and hit Ctrl V. So now if you see this, we are gonna get this kind of animation over here like that. Okay, so let's see, first we'll get this and then we'll get this. Now let's select this topmost layer and let's choose a little bit darker version of this color like this, and we'll get something like this. Then I'm going to select this layer, I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'm going to change this color to white and press S, and let's decrease the scale a little bit like this, and apply this drop shadow effect over here and increase the softness. So if you see, we are getting something like this, and let's hit page down button few times and select this white color, and let's try to bring this over here. Okay, so if you see, we are getting something like this, and then this, and then this. Okay, and when this last one is gonna come over here, I want there should be some sparking type animation over here should be happening. So let's select this shape layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, hit U, and let's delete all of this, and let's try to bring this over here and change the color of this one to black. Press S, initial scale should be 0, create one keyframe, then as it goes further, increase the size of this, select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here, then select this, hit Ctrl D, move this over here and change the color of this one to white. Okay, so first we will get this, then we will get this. Okay, now between these there should be some additional animations needs to happen. So press Ctrl N, and we are going to call it as line animation. So hit OK. Then for that I'm going to select my pen tool. From here to here I'm going to create one line with the black color and stroke width to 10 pixels, and fill I'm going to delete it. Then go to the add menu and choose trim path. Go to the trim path, initial end value should be 0, so create one keyframe at start and one keyframe at end. Then go somewhere around 1.20 frame. Let's make this value 100 as well as this value 100. Okay, select those starting keyframe and let's move this over here. So we'll get something like this. Now let's try to adjust it over here. Select those keyframe and by holding alt I'm going to bring this over here and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So we will get something like this. Now we need another copies of this, so hit U, select this, hit Ctrl D, press R and let's make this not 60 but 90-degree rotation. Again hit Ctrl D, press R, let's make this 180, hit Ctrl D, press R and let's make this 270. So if you see, we are getting something like this. Then select all of this and let's press V for selection and let's make this stroke width to 4. Select all of this, hit Ctrl D, let's bring them at the top and this time I'm going to make stroke width 10. Then right click, new and create one null object. Select the top 4 layers and make it apparent with this null. Select this null, press R for rotation and let's make this 45-degree rotation. So if you see, we are getting something like this. Now I'm going to select this topmost layer and I'm going to move this up to 10 frames like that. Okay, like this. Then you can select this, press S and you can make this 200 as well. So if you see this, now we are getting something like this. Now select all of these layers and in search option search for cap, and now all the butt cap I'm going to choose to round cap. Okay, so make sure to choose round cap for each and every one. Okay, so we are gonna get proper like this animation. Hit U. If you want, you can bring this up to 5 frames as well. Okay, like that. And I think the stroke weight over here is too much, so let's do one thing, make this 1 only, not too much, or even less than that, like 0.5 or something. Okay, like this. Okay, this looks good to me. Let's go to the main animation, and then when this animation is happening, I want that line animation should appear. So let's try to bring this over here, this line animation, and it should be behind this first. Okay, at this point. Okay, when this animation goes and when this animation arrives, I'll select this line animation and I'll try to bring this over here and I'll bring this over here as well, and this animation should start somewhere around at this point. Okay, at this point. Okay, and just in case it's very slow, simply right click time and choose time stretch and let's choose 80. Okay, like that. So it will automatically become faster. So first this and then this. Okay, and then over here you can put your logo. So right now I'm just putting your logo text, but you can add your logo. So if you see this properly, this is a very basic animation for beginners. Okay, let's increase the size of this one. Then at this point try to bring your logo, so press P, or you can press S for scaling. Create one keyframe, go few frame forward, create another keyframe and go to the start. Let's make this 0 and choose F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move one handle over here like this. Okay, and try to adjust it over here. Okay, so if you see, we'll get this and we'll get this. Okay, like that. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and bring this over here like this. So after all of this, as you guys can see, just with the help of simple shape layers, you can create this kind of logo for your channel. Effects. So let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. Width, I'm going to choose 1920, height 180, frame rate 59.94, duration you can choose whatever duration you want, and background color I'm going to choose white color and simply hit OK. Then we'll go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Now I'm going to create another composition by hitting Ctrl N and I'm going to call it as grid and simply hit OK. Then press Ctrl Y to create one background layer and choose black color for it. Then I'm going to select my pen tool. Then let's deselect this layer, and from here to here I'm going to create one stroke, and stroke width I'm going to choose 0.5, and let's make the stroke color white. Then select the stroke, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically first. Then you can click on this align left. Then we'll go inside this, go to the contents, add, and we will choose repeater. Go to the repeater and go to the transform repeater 1, and we will decrease the size a little bit, somewhere around like this, and we will increase the number of copies somewhere around over here. Now let's select the shape layer and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press R for rotation and let's rotate it on 90 degree. Then go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically, or align it at the top. Then press S for scaling option, unlink this, and we will increase the scale on this axis. And let's hit U to minimize this, so we will get this grid. Okay, now let's go to the main animation and press Ctrl Y to create one solid background, and we are going to choose white solid background and we will lock this layer. Then I'm going to select my ellipse tool and we will choose fill, black color for this fill, and let's delete this stroke, and by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse. Now let's select this ellipse and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Then go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now let's select this shape layer and press P for position, and let's create one keyframe. Then go somewhere around 1 second and create another keyframe like this. Now let's select the shape layer and let's try to bring this upward like this. Then I'm going to select this layer and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and hit U. Then go to the start and we will delete those keyframe. We will create another keyframe. Then we'll go to 1 second again and we will create another keyframe over here, and at the start I'm going to bring this downwards. So if I see this now, I'm gonna get this kind of animation. Now let's select those keyframe and let's bring this over here around this point. Now let's select this second layer, press S initially, let's make this 0 and create one keyframe. Then go to 1 second and let's make this 100. Now hit U so you can see all the keyframes. Then select those keyframe and we will hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So if you see, we will get this and then we will get this. Now let's select this much keyframes and let's try to bring this up to this. So if you see, first we'll get this and this. Then somewhere around at this point I'm going to select this layer and I'll press S for scaling option and let's create one keyframe. Then go somewhere around over here and let's decrease the size of this. Then select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move one handle over here and move one handle over here like this. So if you see, first we will get this and then we will get this. Now after that I'm going to select this layer and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate again and hit U so you can reveal those keyframes. Select this, hit U, and let's make this scale 0 initially. Okay, like this. Now let's select this and change the color of this layer to red so it will act like a mask over here. Okay, like this. Okay, then we will bring our grid layer over here like that, and let's choose alpha mask. Okay, so if you see this animation now, first we will get this and then we will get this. Now after this, what we need to do over here is that we need to create certain animations. So let's try to do it. I'm going to select my ellipse and let's choose white color, and by holding shift let's create one keyframe Let select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically like that. Now let's select all of this lower layer, like this 4 layers. Press Ctrl Shift C and we will call it as Start. Okay, and we will hide this. Similarly, we will hide this white background as well. And now I'm going to press Ctrl K to open the project settings, and I'm going to choose black color for this, just for our reference. Okay, now we have the shape layer. Let's hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and change the color of this one to black, and press S for scaling option, and let's scale it. Okay, so now I have created this another shape. Let's decrease the size a little bit. I think 60 would be good. Now over here we will create our second part of our animation. So let's select these 2 layers and press S, and initially create one keyframe, then go around 20 frame and let's create another keyframe. Now let's go to the start and let's make this value 0 as well as this value 0. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here like this. Now I'm going to take a distance of 10 frames over here, so select this and move this over here. So we will get something like this. If you want, you can make this animation a little bit longer. Let's try to bring this over here. Okay, so we will get something like this. Around 1 second, I want to create multiple object out of this. So let's select this and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and I'm going to call it as circle. Okay, like this. Now press F4 and make sure to enable this icon. Now I'm going to select my rectangle tool, and I don't want any fill over here, so I'll delete this fill. And for the stroke, I'm going to choose white color, and stroke width, let's choose 1 pixels. And by holding shift, I'm going to create this kind of rectangle. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now let's make this 2 pixels like this. Now if you see, first we will get this animation, then I'll go to around 1 second, select this, press P for position, create one keyframe, then zoom out a little bit. Let's go somewhere around over here, press V, and by holding shift or don't hold shift, simply bring this over here. Make sure to enable this snapping so you can properly snap over here. After that, select this, hit Ctrl D, then let's move this over here like that. Then select this layer, hit Ctrl D. Let's try to bring this over here like properly. Try to move this over here like this. Hit Ctrl D and let's try to bring this over here like this. Okay, hit U so you can see those keyframe. If you make this fit, we can get something like this. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and let's move this handle over here like this. So if you see, we'll get this and then we'll get this. Okay, like that. Now after that, what we need to do over here is let's do one thing. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9 again. Let's go over here, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. And now what we need to do over here is we need to select this keyframe and we will bring this a little bit forward like this. Also basically we are arranging in such a way that there should be some gap in the animation. So if you see, we'll get this and then we'll get this, and then somewhere around from this point over here, I want this thing should start to get animated. So let's select this, let's move this over here, go over here inside this contents, add, and let's choose trim path. Then go to the trim path and let's make this end value 0, create one keyframe, then go somewhere around at 3 seconds and let's make this value 100. So now we will get this trim path animation. Then select that trim path animation and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like this. Now let's select this layer and let's bring this downwards and let's make this stroke width 5 pixels. So if you see this now, first we will get this and then we'll get this. Okay, now after that, what we are going to do over here is that we will right click new and create one null object. I'm going to select all of this and I'll make it a parent with this null. Then select this null, press R for rotation, create one keyframe, go to around 5 seconds, and let's make this 180-degree rotation like this. Select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here, and let's move one handle over here like this. So if you see, we will get something like this. Okay, so if you see, we will get this kind of animation over here. Now let's select this shape layer and up to select the sixth layer up to this first null object. By holding shift, we will select all of these layers and press Ctrl Shift C, and we will call it as let's say scene 2 or something like that. Okay, now let's go somewhere around at this point when this is going to get completed. Let's select this and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, press R, and let's make this value 45, or let's make this value 30 or something, or let's make this 20. Select this, hit Ctrl D, press R, let's make this 40. Select this, hit Ctrl D, press R, let's make this 60. Again select this, hit Ctrl D, press R, and let's make this 90. Okay, or let's make this 60 plus 20 again like this, or let's try to bring this somewhere around over here. Let's select this and press R, or I think we need to add 15 over here, so let's try to do it. Let's make this 45. Let's delete this, hit Ctrl D, press R, let's go over here, add plus 15, hit Ctrl D, press R, let's go over here, add plus 15. Okay, so this must looks good to me. So if you see this now, we will get this animation and we are getting something like this. Now we need this animation one by one, so I'm going to take a distance of 10 frames for this. After 10 frames, I want this animation should get started, then this, then this, then this, and then this. Okay, so if you see, we are getting this kind of animation over here, but it's happening in opposite direction. So let's go over here and bring this over here, and we will start to adjust it from this point. Okay, like this. So let's take a distance of 10 frames like this. So if you see, we'll get something like this, and we will get this kind of rotation. Okay, now let's enable our start option over here. Let's enable this start first. Okay, and enable this white background as well. So if you see, first we will get this, then this, and then let's enable all of this our layers, and let's try to bring this animation should start somewhere around at this point. Okay, like this. Now let's select all of this scene 2 and press Ctrl Shift C, and let's call it as collection of scene 02. Hit OK, hold Alt, open square bracket to trim up to this. Okay, like this. Now let's select this and hit Ctrl D, press S. Let's decrease the size of this. Select this, hit Ctrl D, select this third layer, press S, and let's increase the size of this. Let's enable this icons for each and every one. So as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of pattern, and over here as well, if you go, you can take a distance of few frames between this animation over here, and let's go over here and bring this animation over here like that. Okay, like this. So you will get this animation over here. Now what we can do over here, we need to split this animation. So let's select all of these layers and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and we will call it as animation over here. Now after when this animation is going to reach about this point, press Ctrl Shift D at this point to split these layers. Then I'm going to select this rectangle tool, zoom out a little bit, and let's create one mask like this over here, like this. Then let's make this fit, press V. Let's select this portion, let's move this over here. Then select this animation, hit Ctrl D, press M, invert this layer. Then select this two, press P for position, create one keyframe, and then go somewhere around at 8. Select this and let's try to bring this downwards over here like this. Select this and let's try to bring upward over here, and make sure to enable this white color background. Then select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here, and let's hit N. So if I play this animation, I'm gonna get this kind of animation stuff over here like this, and this animation is going to be in the form of loop as well. If you see, if I play this animation, I'll get this animation first, then this, and then I'm gonna get this animation in the form of loop. Now over here, one thing you can do just to make it consistent and look like it's kind of a growing animation, I'm going to select this. Let's go to the new, create one null object, select all of these layers by holding shift and make it apparent with this null object. Then go to the start, select this null, press S, create one keyframe, then go to the end value and let's make this value 150 or something. Okay, so what will happen, that whenever this animation is gonna get growing, we will get a kind of a feel that it's growing like this. Okay, like that. So then go inside this animation over here, then go inside this collection as well, like this. Simply right click new and create one null object over here. Select all of these layers and make it apparent with this null. You can select this null, press R for rotation, alt click on this stopwatch and type time star 20. So we will get kind of a looping animation over there. Okay, like a rotating looping animation. So if you see this now, we'll get this, then we'll get this. Okay, then let's go over here, go to the animation, collection of animation, select this first layer, go to the effect and presets panel over here, or let's do one thing, we'll go inside this layer, not on this layer. Okay, it will take a little bit time to load this effect and presets panel. Let's go inside this, select these layers over here like this, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply, and let's increase the softness to 100, distance to 10 and opacity to 75. Then select this drop shadow and hit Ctrl C, select all the other layers and hit Ctrl V. Okay, and in main animation over here you will get that drop shadow effect as well. Okay, so yep, this is how you can create this kind of looping animation. Let's make this quad resolution, so you will get something like this over here, and this animation is going to be continuously in the form of loop. And another thing over here, you can add an adjustment layer over here like this. You can make full resolution. You can go to the effect and presets panel and search for tint effect to apply, and you can swap this color anytime you want. Instead of this you can choose this color, and instead of this you can choose this color, and you can swap these colors as well, like choose whatever color you want. I like this one as well, and you will get your appropriate results like this. So okay, so this is how you can create one abstract animation inside of After Effects.